Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 21st of May 2025, and these are the stories that we will be highlighting during the course of the show. I begin with a very, very sad news. It reminds us of what happened in 2014 in the heinous APS incident. Again, more or less an incident of the same sort resurfaces when children of all people, innocent children, are have become the victim of a heinous incident by terrorist outfits that of course have the backing of India. The fact is this ghastly attack, planned and orchestrated by our not so friendly eastern neighbor, executed by the proxies in Balochistan, innocent school going children were made the target. 3 children, till the last reports came in, have embraced shahadat, so have 2 adults, and multiple children have embraced injuries. This sends shivers down the spine. How can things like this happen, and how can a country that considers itself to be the hallmark of democracy and pluralism resort to such tactics? Killing innocent children reminds us of the Jaffer Express incident and so many other incidents. But when children are involved, it brings barbarism, it brings violence to a whole new level. We'll be highlighting different aspects of that in our first segment. Our second segment, ladies and gentlemen, concerns 74 years of China-Pakistan relations, and of course how both the countries have seen the strength of relations getting more and more impetus with every passing year and decade. We have seen how in this latest conflict with India, how China stood by Pakistan's side, how the J-10C and PL-15 and JF-17 were instrumental in Pakistan's success in its air space superiority with the help of the expertise of the Pakistani Air Force pilots. This and more, there are so many aspects to Pakistan-China relations that also include China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, that is the most important project under the Belt and Road Initiative. This and more will be discussed in our second segment. Let's begin with our first. It's a bit sensitive, so kindly bear with us. Terrorism strikes children again, and it breaks the heart when you see innocent children, school-going children being the target of attacks such as these. Without going into without me saying more, let me present to you my guests who will be talking about this in further detail. Brigadier Rashid Wali Janjua Saab, Defence Analyst, joins us online, and will be also joined by another guest later. Thank you very much, Brigadier Saab, to have joined us. How should we interpret, sir, this Khuzdar school bus attack? Isn't this a clear manifestation not only of BLA's heinous agenda, but also India's state-sponsored terrorism?
Thank you. See, the answer is very simple. We know that India has had a major setback in the present standoff, and it has redoubled its efforts to, destabilize Pakistan. And this dastardly APS Khuzdar attack is a clear manifestation of that. This thing was predicted by Ajay Sohni, the executive director of Institute of Conflict and Peace and South Asia Terrorism Portal in New Delhi. He is ex-raw hand, and he was telling the panelists that Pakistan cannot be defeated conventionally. So the best bet for India is to destabilize it through covert means. So this is the policy of the Indian deep state, and which is being translated now into action after this humiliating setback during the 4-day Indo-Pak standoff. And India has not made any bones about its intentions of destabilizing Pakistan. And the covert support to entities like BLA and TTP is a clear indication. And in the last 7 days, there has been a very, very visible spike in terrorist violence in KP and Balochistan. There have been attacks on military posts, FC posts, and now this dastardly attack attacking innocent women, children, and civilians. So this is the handiwork of their patrons, which had planned APS Peshawar also, and which was a moment that entire nation came together, and that was a watershed event. even the fence sitters who had some doubts about the scourge of terrorism, they got round and the Operation Zarb-e-Azb was started. I think this is again another reminder of the same scourge, that now they have started targeting our children, and any fence sitters, any self doubters, any detractors who had any kind of doubt in their minds about who is orchestrating these acts of terror should be laid to rest. Balochistan's instability is in direct interest of India and its deep state. Raw is very actively funding it, and this is an indicative of the fact that they want to now give Pakistan, you know, uh, such a treatment that Pakistan goes into a kind of a mourning mode. That the Pakistan's current swift, precise, and very effective response, which had completely baffled India and its deep state, so much so that the electoral prospects of Prime Minister Modi, those have got a big hit because of the setbacks that they received. So that is why I think they wish to now embroil Pakistan into this kind of battle, covert wars, acts of terror, so that Pakistan goes into a mourning mode, and this celebratory and this moment of unity, which the nation and the armed forces had earned, uh, should be eclipsed. But we had already, I think, predicted during our analysis that this thing would come, and it is now up to our security agencies and our defense establishment to take a fresh look at the approach being taken for fighting this scourge, and now go the whole hog in eliminating any vestiges of terrorism that are active in the province of Balochistan.
All right, Brigadier Saab, how low can a country get? How low can anyone get? What this attempt that you've talked about, India repeatedly targeting soft, innocent targets, civilian targets like children. What does that also reveal about India's moral and diplomatic bankruptcy?
You see, a country like India, which does not have any compunction in spilling the blood in their own mainland India, plus disputed state of illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, when they can orchestrate an act like Palgam, they can always do an act like Khozdar APS, because that ideology on the basis of which they are operating is based on exclusion, hatred, blind hubris, and that hatred and that antipathy against all other faiths, all other sectarian denominations is the wellspring of their political and religious ideology. And now that idea of religious nationalism has completely eclipsed the notion of secular nationalism in India. So this is a hate-driven ideology. When they can erase the signature of mosques, when they can ratchet up the tensions to, uh, uh, you know, provoke communal tensions and spill the innocent blood to gain few electoral brownie points, this is not very far from their reach. And this is very much expected because they don't have any moral scruples, any moral compunction, any compassion, and they're pure in pursuit of their political objectives, and those are destabilization of Pakistan and keeping this, uh, veritable witch's brew of hatred boiling in this region. And terrorism is their standard tactics. Now they will use with renewed vigor after having licked their wounds, because they have had a very serious, humiliating setback, and the much wanted pride of their S-400, Rafale, and their very strong conventional component has been blown to the smithereens. And now they are sitting quite glum, morose, and this is the reason that they have now come up with this very, very uh, dangerous escalation in covert operations, which is quite evident. And I'm sure our security and intelligence agencies are on the dot, and they will piece together credible, solid evidence which would stand the test of international forums in any international court internationally. And I'm sure we can show to the whole world the the real face of India, and those who taint others with the allegations of terrorism are in fact infected so badly with this scourge of hatred and terrorism that now they are using it as an instrument of state policy.
Brigadier Saab, now can we very clearly say after incidents such as these that India is not only a hostile neighbor but a full-blown terrorist state also? How do you think now Pakistan should internationally expose this systematic policy that India has been using through proxies to destabilize Pakistan in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Balochistan?
I think we need to piece together the evidence. We need to collect, package it in a presentable manner, which would be irrefutable and which should stand the stand in the bar of international law scrutiny. And there is any loose ends to that end need to be now fixed. We know that there is plenty of evidence in the past. Also, dossiers have been given, and in this episode of uh, of Markai Baka, we have seen Markai Haq. Sorry, we have seen that Indians have been given instructions. Their intelligence operatives have been caught on record, ideos that they were giving directions. And what to talk of them at international fora? The Canadian government has come up with the evidence. United States government has come up with the evidence. Gurpatwant Singh's assassination in attempted assassination in United States is a case in point. In UK also, there have been many assassinations of Sikh community activists. On Pakistani soil earlier on, Pakistan has given evidence of Indian complicity in assassinations of Kashmiri nationals on Pakistani soil. So this is the latest act, and through their proxies, BLA and TTP, there are layers, in fact, and it is not easy to find that link sometimes. But I'm sure through modern technological means and human intelligence, our intelligence agencies should be able to piece together the irrefutable evidence, which should then be used to disseminate at international fora. We already have a delegation which is going abroad, led by Mr. Bilawal Bhutto, and I'm sure they will do a good job. But they should be equipped with the solid evidence. Now they should have only one point agenda, and that is to showcase the Indian heinous, dastardly, and brazen acts of terrorism in all the important capitals of the world, so that people should come to know. And we must send our legal teams also abroad. The teams should be equipped with the right brief and the evidence so as to file cases. There are forums like UN Human Rights Council, UN Security Council, and we must explore all possible international law avenues. Foreign Office, Ministry of Law, Attorney General, they must all sit together, pool their thoughts, get the right evidence, which is there but needs to be packaged and presented properly. And then throughout the world, there is Pakistani diaspora. I think they should also be now exploited, and their help should be solicited.
All right, Brigadier Saab, in the wake of all these circumstances, we saw the Jaffer Express incident as well. And what was very strange at that time that linked us instantly to the Indian masterminds behind the Jaffer Express incident also was the way the Indian media was highlighting the Jaffer Express incident with exclusive interviews with BLA. To which extent, in your point of view, has the Indian media also played a role overtly and covertly to cover up and to justify India's state terror tactics in the region?
There is no Indian media nowadays, mind you. It is it is all bought off. The last bastion of independent journalism, NDTV, was bought off by Adani's. So now they are just echo chambers inside India. They say and they talk and they scream what their government tells them. Unfortunately, during the Jaffer Express episode, we knew that without even digesting the news, their channels had started screaming about BLAs and they were almost gloating over a terrorist act. So that is a complete linkage. And then there were certain intercepts, intelligence intercepts of audios that developed a direct nexus between their handlers, the raw handlers, and uh, those militants which were perpetrating acts of terror against the Jaffer Express. So there's no doubt about Indian complicity there. But look at the Pakistan's behavior. Pakistan acted very maturely, responsibly, did not direct its ire against India, and did not declare a war on India based on Jaffer Express. It was as if uh, Pahalgam incident was analogous to something like that is happening on every daily basis. Today, we've seen APS attack. 3 children have been martyred. There are many injured. So, should Pakistan go and declare a war on India? No. Pakistan should expose this heinous linkage and the terrorist support through their proxies and use international law, diplomacy, and pull media and soft power pressure. And I think we need to press on with all buttons, media, academia, diplomats, and our legal instrument. So these are the means that we should use. And most importantly, we should now be very clear as to the clear and present danger that is staring us and go the whole hog in eliminating this militancy and terrorism in Balochistan. The BLA and the support network and the fence sitters who are sowing the seeds of confusion uh, in people's minds about the intent and about the scope and reach and grievances of this militant organizations. Now I think this is our APS moment. All those doubts should be laid to rest, and we must start with the renewed vigor like we started in Operation Zarbe-Azb. I'm sure our security and intelligence agencies, day in and day out, they're already fighting this battle, but the whole nation needs to now be united behind the armed forces. And I think we need to have a look on our counter-terrorism strategy at the national level as to how we can ramp up the civilian component also to give a helping hand to
All
the
right.
frontier corps, army, and counter-terrorism operators of our premier security agency operating in Balochistan.
All right. Thank you very much, Brigadier Rashid Wali Janjua Sahab, to have joined us, to have given us your eminent point of view as far as this dastardly incident is concerned. And I mean, there are no words to explain it. Just, you know, when it concerns innocent children, there are really no words to explain the way violence strikes them and the way violence has struck them deliberately through Indian proxies, through BLA, and all those sympathizers of BLA should also now rethink as to why they are doing this. Are they with Pakistan or are they not with us? I think this is the moment when we need to unite, and those who are not united with us should be openly exposed as well as to what their real intentions are. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us. Let's come to our second story, and that concerns 74 years of Pakistan-China friendship, collaboration, cooperation, brotherhood, ironclad friendship, and the list goes on. We can, you know, elaborate just for 2 to 3 hours on the different aspects of this relationship that has only strengthened with time. The latest episode that bore the hallmark of this collaboration was the latest conflict between India and Pakistan, and how it was the J-10Cs, how it was the PL-15s that were instrumental in Pakistan's aerospace success, tactical supremacy, with of course the help of our brilliant Air Force pilots. We've been joined by two guests to discuss that in more detail. Shahid Mansoor Gulkayani Sahab, former ambassador, joins us online. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And in the studios we'll be joined by Dr. Gulshan Rafiq. She's an international relations expert. Thank you very much, Dr. Saiba, to have joined us. We'll begin with you, Dr. Saiba. Pakistan and China mark 74 years of diplomatic relations. As per an international analyst, if what were the first things that come to your mind when I say defining milestones that have transformed this relationship into an iron brotherhood?
Thank you so much for having me here. So this relationship is multidimensional. It's not only strategic or defense relationship, it's beyond defense relationship. And when we think of the iron brotherhood, in Chinese language they call it Patiye. So Pa means Pakistan and Ta means iron. So this term, it's very much popular not only in China but in whole East Asia and in Pakistan as well. And when we think of iron brotherhood, it means that our relationship with China is in political dimension, it's in strategic dimension, we have commercial relationships with them, we have academic exchanges with them, we have been very consistent in this relationship, and this consistency has brought us to this point that we call this relationship as a iron brotherhood.
That is true. Ambassador Saab, how has China, I mean, I don't need to give you more details on that, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. How has China consistently stood by Pakistan in the difficult times, be it during war, be it during diplomacy, during natural disasters, and how does that differentiate Beijing as an ally from other countries?
Let me first say to you, first of all, I'm honored to be on your program, and it's such an important subject. You know, Pakistan-China relations, if you compare, goes back to in the landmarks, but the most important landmark, rather the basis of Pakistan-China relations is the 1962 April, I say May, sorry, it's what April 1962, the border agreement, demarcation agreement of 1962. Whereas India, at that time, if you go in the beginning, Indian-China relations were very close. But then what happened was we understood, we Pakistan government at that time understood that the relationship will be based on trust. If we demarcate the borders, which have been, somewhat misunderstood because of the colonial legacy which we carried, Indians on the other side rather misunderstood and carried on with this misunderstanding. They relate the basis of mistrust, and we relate the basis of trust. That basis on which we built our relationship in the last so many decades is what the Chinese, who have thousands of years of civilization, understood that this is a country on which we should continue to have relations and develop relations. And that is the reason for the last many decades, if you see, in the realm of diplomatic relations, the realm of economic, defense, commercial, all the relationships are being built on the basis of trust. So, if you look at what they have given you in the last many years, but China is a country, a global power, which does not talk in the sense of, helping this country and then gloating about it. In what has happened in the defense realm, if you look at the tension which was being built by India, China as a responsible global power said to both the countries that the situation should diffuse. But coming back to the relationship, I think cpec, if you look at it, I just go forward, is the gift of these decades of relationship of trust which Pakistan and China have built to each other. If you come down now quickly, look at the trilateral relationship, trilateral agreement, trilateral discussion were taking place in China between Pakistan, China, and Afghanistan. Why? China and Pakistan are on the same page. We are concerned about what's happening in Afghanistan because Afghanistan is the elephant in the relationship. If we have to improve our relation or enlarge our relation with the Central Asian republics with China, it is Afghanistan which is creating a problem, and China is as much concerned as Pakistan is concerned about the issue of terrorism which is emanating from Afghanistan.
That is so true. That is so true. Dr. Saiba, how has CPEC, I mean, now that Ambassador is talking about, how has CPEC evolved from just being an economic project to a strategic linchpin when it comes to Pakistan-China relations, especially when it comes to connectivity and regional integration? And as far as the latest details go, how significant is also the decision to extend CPEC to Afghanistan in terms of reshaping the regional connectivity landscape and enhancing Pakistan's geo-economic positioning?
Yeah, this is a very important project. It's just not an economic project, but it's a strategic partnership. It's a project which connects many people, like not only from China and Pakistan, because this is a flagship project of One Belt Road Initiative, which in Chinese they call it Yi Dai Yi Lu. And there are like more than 160 countries and they are part of it. And China has already invited India to join this project. Today I read somewhere that now China is inviting Afghanistan to be part of to be part of CPEC. So this project is one of those projects in the world which if it was envisioned before, it would have connected like almost 90% of the countries around itself. So this project is very important for all the countries in the region, not only in South Asia, but in the whole Asia, in Europe and in Middle East. And to extend this project into phase 2 is, it's very like, it's a kind of wisdom because we have seen the completion and success stories from the CPEC phase 1 project. So extending it to the to other parts of the country and then including many other projects into it, like energy and creating jobs and creating like employment for people of those remote areas in Balochistan or along the whole belt in eastern and western route. So I think this project is gonna be a game changer in this region in future.
All right, Ambassador Saab, continuing to talk about CPEC, that the second phase is on and of course going on robustly. What strategic and economic opportunities will the second phase of the CPEC provide to Pakistan and to this long-lasting relationship between both the countries, and to third-party participation? What could that also offer as far to Pakistan as far as regional connectivity was concerned, also industrial development?
My own emphasis would be that this second phase and going to go to the third phase. The most important thing which Pakistan government, because they have given you this gift, CPEC, it also is a big advantage to China also, because it connects them from their southern part, eastern part, and goes back to Gwadar. Yes, but at the same time, the most important thing is the improving the skills of our people, to enlarge the vocational institutions in EPZs, because until unless the skills of our people are not improved, how would you manufacture things? So I think our government should work with the Chinese government in setting up EPZs, setting up vocational institutions in all the EPZs. I have served in Vietnam, and I saw how the skills of people have improved. I've been to China also, I've seen what they do, because improving the skills will improve the employment opportunities for our people, because we keep on emphasizing that CPEC will be our what you call project, and on mega projects, and we will employ as many people as possible. This is very, very important, that if you want to improve the infrastructure, you want to manufacture things, whatever you want to do, most important thing would be to have large scale vocational institutions to improve the skills of our people. And what we will do is not only that we will help people here, we can then export people abroad, because nowadays in most of the world, unskilled workers are not welcomed.
That is true. Dr. Saiba, what in your point of view, and how does the Pakistan-China alliance contribute to broaden Asian peace, multipolarity and resistance to unilateralism in international relations?
So when we look at the foreign policy of China, they have a concept of Panchsheel, and one of those concepts is the non-interference in others' internal matters. So I really appreciate this concept, because if you are away from that broader political objectives, you are more focused on development and prosperity and stability in the region. And when it comes to this partnership between China and Pakistan, I think the whole region, like the whole South Asia, would get benefited from it. Like CPEC is one example of it. Then there is other areas of strategic partnership, cultures somehow are common, and the defense collaboration between two countries would be an example for other states to collaborate in this area with other states as well. So Pakistan-China relationship is an example for all the regional states, and the concept of unilateralism is very important, because in like in international relations, there is always one country that it not controls, but it guides other countries to like to how to interact in international arena. And in Asia we needed that country, and I think China is that country. And with the help of Pakistan, with the assistance, and on the platform of Pakistan-China strategic partnership, I think these countries, these both countries would set examples for many like smaller countries and the middle powers and countries on the margins. So I think this partnership is very important.
All right. Ambassador Saab, we all know our Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Saab was in China very recently. Now he's on his way back. He had many important discussions, whether it be the trilateral summit that happened between Afghanistan, China and Pakistan. We discussed the cpec as, you know, the extension of cpec to Afghanistan, that was discussed as part of that as well. But also in the high level talks between China and Pakistan during this visit, how significant is the inclusion of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute, and what message is this going to send to the international community regarding regional peace and United Nations resolutions?
Let me just share with you something. The Modi government, meaning Prime Minister Modi, who has been in politics for many decades, committed the biggest blunder of his life. You know, not only that, the image of India in general has been dented, his own image has also been dented. He should have been a more mature politician. And what he has done is that he brought the Kashmir dispute back on the world stage, meaning President Trump, he intervenes or he mediates or not, but it doesn't matter. But the most important thing is that he also talked about the Kashmir dispute. Now, China has always been supporting Pakistan and said that there should be a peaceful resolution of this dispute based on the UN resolution. So this is and China has been consistent in its support. It has never wavered. That is the beauty of this global power. Its rise has been peaceful. If you look at the three stages, the first stage Mao, then Deng Xiaoping, and now President Xi's third stage. All along, most of the third world countries, a brute majority, looks at China as a global power, as a country whose rise is peaceful, and they would like to emulate that. And here also, China has always been supportive of Pakistan. Rather, it has always been supporting of a peaceful coexistence of neighboring countries. So this is something which we need to understand, and India needs to understand this thing. If you look at China and in India, have you know, up and down, the relationship has gone up and down, but China has been consistent in trying to maintain a peaceful coexistence with India. If you look at all the statements which are emanating from Beijing the last now few weeks, it has always said relationship should be based on peaceful coexistence and to relationship to coexist and try to improve your relation, try to sort it out sitting across the table. So for us, it's a matter of pride. Our Deputy Prime Minister who went there for in the three days relation, the discussion which took place, he took a very important, you know, I saw my colleagues who were part the Chinese desk, then the South Asian, and then the Afghanistan. So the relationship always in every meeting which happens, there is always a quantum jump in the bilateral relationship. That for us, it's a matter of pride that we continue to discuss and all three stages: political, military, and senior officials. It's a continuous thing, and we hardly have any disagreement. So this is a matter of pride for us, and we should also, you know, those skeptics who keep on writing on social media, cpec, this and that, they should use their common sense and say, this is one friend for all which we should all be proud of. All third world countries are proud of, but for Pakistan, this is a relationship which by the grace of Almighty is solid, based on trust.
All right. Dr. Gulshan, I'd also like to, I mean, we've seen China's perspective, there's also Pakistan's perspective. Pakistan's firm support for the one China policy. How important is that in the evolving geopolitical and geostrategic dynamics?
So in international relations, we say that there are only there are no permanent friends or foes. There are only permanent interests. But when it comes to China and Pakistan, they are permanent friends. And in Chinese language, they also say that "Wo man sha hao pangyo." It means that we are best friends. And when it comes to like defending China's one China policy, either it's China's issue with Taiwan or Hong Kong or Xinjiang or any other autonomous region like Tibet, Pakistan supports it because Pakistan feels that China consolidates and well regulates all these regions, and those regions are very peaceful. Believe me, like 2 years back, I did the solo road trip from Shanghai to Islamabad, and I have been to Xinjiang and Tibet as well. And those areas are they are way much prosper than other parts of the world which have been like the autonomous region with the other countries. So I truly appreciate Pakistan's stance on one China policy. I also appreciate China's stance on Pakistan's call for a resolution of Kashmir issue, and also all those areas in which both countries need each other. So I think on international platforms, on regional platforms, and on local platforms, both countries they support each other on these issues, and I as a person would also be advocating one China policy, not only now but in future as well.
Definitely, I am completely in tandem with you and with all that you have been saying. I think Pakistan and China are more or less becoming synonymous. You know, this is becoming more or less one term, one vision, one one region more or less that understands each other, people that understand each other, leadership that understands each other, and that is how friendships are developed. Last question to you, Ambassador Shahid Sahab, as we look, what sectors do you feel beyond defense, beyond economy, should Pakistan prioritize with China in order to ensure this partnership, this relationship, this friendship, this ironclad brotherhood becomes even more resilient in the next decades?
My take on that would be, you asked a very important question. You see, what our state responsibilities are three: security, health, and education. Security has been taken care of. I would suggest that the government of Pakistan should form a joint ventures in improving the basic health units and the primary schools in all parts of Pakistan, so that, because it is public centric, people will benefit from it. This is some area in which there is, in one or two provinces, it has been neglected for many decades. Let us hope that we improve. Infrastructure is one thing, yes, rather village to towns, roads should be improved, and health and education is two sectors in which China can help. China has done wonders in its own rural areas. They've taken out people from poverty. How would you do that? Unless your people are educated, you are healthy.
Pakistan can take the Chinese example, Ambassador Saab, and emulate so many of the things that China has done for its people, for our own people as well. And the way China has progressed, inshallah, with China's backing, with China's help, with China's friendship, Pakistan will also inshallah prosper and thwart all enemy designs, including from our eastern neighbor that is trying to destabilize it from one way or the other. Thank you very much, Ambassador Masroor Gulkani Saab. Thank you very much, Dr. Gulshan Rafiq Saiba, who have joined us. This was our first interaction. I hope this will be the first of many. This brings us to the end of today's show. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow with story segments that pertain to us, you and Pakistan. Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.